doesn't want to spend more, that leaves a worse taste. I think you run the risk of that leaving a bad taste in the seller's mouth. Because you're saying, in essence, you're saying, your house isn't worth this much money to me. As opposed to, I really can't pay more. Now, how I've chosen to handle that, if I've been on the buyer's side, is to make sure the other agent knows. The offer's written, I mean, the pre-qualification letter is written for this much money. We want to keep this ball in play. Trust me, they are golden. I can get you a new letter.
Right.
If I need to do that. And that is what I do.
And absolutely, there's circumstances that fall under. I mean,
I did just this week have a situation on a little house where 2 offers came in on the same day, and another one was supposed to come in on the next day. And the agent called me back and said, Teresa, the other offer was higher, but my sellers have chosen to counter to your offer. And I still believe that part of that is because I had developed a rapport with him, and he knew the lender, and he believed that these people were solid as a rock based on who the lender was and what I had told him about the buyer. And we got the deal done, much to the chagrin of a couple of other agents. I was very grateful to that seller, to that agent, for this happened very quickly. And so much of the counter-offering was verbal. But it was done in a matter of hours. And I was very grateful to him for being honorable enough. And he had another offer that came in the next day. And he said, you know what, you're a day late. And he honored it. But I still have that ambivalence about, I see what you're saying about knowing in writing that a buyer is qualified to spend more money. But, like I said, from the seller's point of view, do they really know? Is it going to be more irritating to them?
Well,
do you know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying, but
am I alone in this?
But also, you've got to look at it like with sellers. You don't buy something you're not making an offer based upon it's all I can afford. You buy things based upon what the perceived value of the property is. And you use statistics, you use numbers, you use a CMA. So a lot of times what I do is I will send over a CMA to the listing agent and say the buyer made this offer based upon these pendings and sold properties that have they're similar to the property in question, and that's the reason the offer is written.
Right.
And you don't use it because that's all I can afford. You use it because that's what the numbers indicate that the value is. And and does it make somebody mad? Well, it shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't get mad if somebody writes you an offer. Yeah, it might be a little low, but that's this market, and this market is a little low. Values have gone down. You have to, again, constantly educate your clients about what the current condition of the market is. And having, my view is that having a pre-approval letter for greater than what you're making the offer in is irrelevant. I mean, the fact that you can qualify for more, that should be a good thing. Not that this is all I can qualify, because it's the perception is that they're just making up this pre-approval letter to make you believe that's all they can qualify for, in many cases. It's not always the case, but in many cases. Now, there are circumstances where it's all the people couldn't qualify. And if you tell the story and the seller has met those the kids, or you're able to tell a story. Sometimes people will sell a house to somebody not because it's the highest price. They like them. I mean, I've had that happen before.
Oh yeah.
So if you're good at telling the story, and this is Jim and Wanda, and they've got 3 kids, and they're going to this school, and the reason they want to live here is because they're friends with some of the neighbors down the street, and this is the home they would really like to have, and you know, some people are emotionally will want to sell to those people for emotions. Like, oh, that would be great. I'd like this person in my house, as opposed to maybe somebody didn't tell the story very well, and you know, and wasn't selling their client, their customer, and all that kind of stuff. So there's different ways of approaching it, and you can't look at it as one way is the best way. It's depending on your client and who you're working with. So
it sounds like you made that transaction work more because of the rapport you developed with the other agent versus what was on the pre-approval letter.
Maybe.
You know.
I mean, actually, how could he resist it? Just a joke.
So how long does it take to get a pre-approval, not a pre-approval, but a good faith put together for, like, any of these agents call you? What's the timeline?
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so 10 minutes. So that's not very long at all. So
we can bring buyers in here, and do you have to make an appointment with you?
No, just call.
Call you?
Yeah.
just call and he'll set the appointment, come in and meet here or
Whatever needs to
wherever.
happen.
Because sometimes they just don't, especially like in a divorce situation, they really don't know. The wife especially doesn't really know where to go, where to start. So
Right.
that would,
Well,
that would be
and
helpful.
you know, I've been doing this long enough, and unfortunately, a lot of my, you know, I deal with a lot of divorces from past clients.
Okay.
You know, which people who've been in the business for a while probably deal with the same thing. I mean, unfortunately, it happens. But yeah, I mean, I know how to handle that situation.
Okay.
Anybody's got any other questions? Everybody feel very confident you know how to fill out a buyer's estimated closing cost sheet? Yeah?
For next week, I'll get you guys some pre-approval sheets, just some basic information that I will need from clients in order to get them pre-approved. And like I said, it's just basic information. So, and you can, if you pre-qualification worksheet, you can just fill that out with them. Get that to me in case they can't meet or talk on the phone, or you just want to get them pre-approved right away. We can deal with it that way. But I typically like to just speak with the clients personally before I, you know, if you just send me a sheet, I run it, something might get missed. You know, if you say their income is, you know, $50,000 a year, and I run it with that, and you know, say they're fine for that price house, and I find out, you know, they just switched jobs 3 months ago, and that $50,000 is just commission. Those kind of things. I mean, it's just good. I mean, that's the extreme, but I always just, versus just having a piece of paper, I like to actually talk with them. It takes 5 minutes for me to ask the right questions to know if that borrower is going to be is absolutely good to go, absolutely not good to go, or if we need to do some more digging.
Excuse me, but I, for one, wouldn't mind. Did I miss a class on estimated closing costs?
No, we haven't had that class.
No,
but
we can.
Am I the only one who might benefit from a?
No, and we asked last week. You know, anything else you guys want me to talk about? You know, just let me know the week before, and I'll put something together for the following week. So if that's something that we want to go ahead and go over, estimated
Well, I don't
closing
want
costs.
anybody to be
That'd be
bored.
good. No,
I don't want
that'd be
anybody to be bored.
well, that's
Won't be
it's
bored.
something that you should be able to do, because there will be occasions where you can't reach the loan officer. Does that prevent you from writing the offer?
We hope not.
So you gotta be able to disclose to people, if you're writing an offer, that this is an approximate. That's what it is. It's an estimate. You don't have to be 100% accurate, but it helps to be within a couple $100.
Yeah, like 450, but not to exceed 600 or something like that.
Yeah, the bottom line is you want to be able to estimate that stuff yourself, so you're not totally reliant on other people, and just to have the knowledge of how to do it.
Well, I, for one, don't feel like,
Okay, well,
let me say, an expert in this field.
okay, well, that's something that we'll cover. Now, what other classes or what other kind of subjects would you like to see us cover? And we did the new home construction deal, which I thought was a good class.
Fabulous.
And before that we did in here we talked about how you read plat maps and floor plans and things of that nature. So if you have a subject that you'd like covered, you know, send me an email, you know, or shout out, and we'll put it in the plans of future training classes. But